headlines shouting his name. Didn't waste any time, I was disgusted when the madman's image appeared at the top of the Tspring. Some were barely alive, too many didn't survive, till they kept repeating headlines shouting the name. Do they not realize the future demons with the hope of becoming the one at the top of the Tspring? He's from morality away, research to gravity. I'ma say, you made sure the world will remember the name, but didn't the thought even enter your mind? You've given the legion of monsters a reason to take your life. The pictures drove me insane, can't get them out of my brain. You make certain they were right at the top of the page. Disrespected the dead when the only name was of the one who committed the murder at the top of the page. Madmen marching with glee as the herd of men successfully they saw it all unfold right on the face of the Tspring. Perhaps they could be the one who'd become famous for the acts of terror reflected on the face of the Tspring. He's from morality away, research to gravity. I must say, you made sure the world will remember the name, but didn't the thought even enter your mind? You've given the legion of monsters a reason to take your life. And I call you a pimp as you whore the insane. The damage you cause you cannot rectify. You've inspired new legions of monsters determined to take more life. Listen up, 'cause the ground here is coming away. Just another guy. You made sure the world will remember the name, but didn't the thought monsters a reason to take your life? And I call you a pimp as you legions of monsters determined to take more life. My
Okay. This is what we're doing today. Okay, how about now? No. Guys, I don't know what you can or can't see. Here, whatever. Horror movie feedback. That's a good sign. We're going to go with it. Okay, so Sapient heard the feedback, which I'm sorry about that, guys. Which is it's what I got. I am actually live on the cell, and I'm watching on the screen, so this sucks. Audio working now. Okay, I got to go with what I got, which means I won't be sharing any screens today. I can't share anything on my cell. I won't be sharing much anyway. No. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Cancel. I do not want to leave this share screen. Maybe it'll kind of work. It's probably time to buy a new laptop, guys. But whatever. All right, so we're gonna at least have the chat. Yes, I know my audio was removed. Thank you very much. I knew that to begin with. Okay. This is going to get much more complicated today, I think, because I'm going to have to move my phone around so that I can get started. All right. So the intro today was Legion of Monsters by Disturbed. Can you imagine why? Well, we're going to be talking about that right away. Right. Lewis, somebody just tried to text me. I think I know who it was. I will have to get back to you after the stream is over. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Lewiston Mass Shooting. All right. How did he choose his targets? Well, there's two theories that are floating around out there. To be fair, they're equally valid. I know I'm favoring one of the two. They are not necessarily mutually exclusive. The first one holds that he chose this bar and grill and the bowling alley because of rumors or whispers or something that he believed they were saying that, as Sidney Watson puts it, he was a friend. He was a friend of the playground. Right. I doubt that theory quite a bit. I can't tell you it's not possible. I can only say I don't think he chose the bowling alley for that reason. Competing theory is that the bar and the bowling alley were both gun-free zones. There's a sign posted at the bowling alley that this is a gun-free zone. That theory has a lot more traction, right? It's easy to find these sorts of places. It's not rocket science. Excuse me. Around here, the casinos are all gun-free zones because there's a lot of alcohol involved. There's also a whole holy shit ton of money involved. Oh, excuse me. There's a holy shit ton of amount of money involved, moving around everywhere. Yeah, Wasp. No, Wasp. It wasn't you that texted me. It'd be fixed bayonets. I'm pretty sure it was her telling me that I didn't have sound. Here's what I'm gonna do, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. Not to make up for how everything has gone to shit today. And don't abuse this. All right. I'm not opening up a panel. I don't do panels. But I am going to do a backstage access thing. There we go. Okay. So how did he choose his targets? They were gun-free zones. All right, gun-free zones, kill. That's it. All right, how did he get the weapon? And I'm just going to put this where it really is. Where did the state of Maine fail? Where all did the state of Maine fail? And probably the ATF while they were at it. One way or the other, the state of Maine failed. This guy should have been in a hospital. That really, a hospital or something. Part of the story that's floating around out there in the universe is that he believed he was being persecuted or prosecuted or something because he had a persecution complex, because he believed that people were saying that he was a friend of the playground. I have to wonder if they had taken his claims of people saying this about him seriously, how that would have changed the outcome of events. Now, maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe we'd be exactly where we are now. But if they had actually, if law enforcement had actually said, you know what, this guy's got this paranoid delusion about being called a criminal. Let's go check it out. Let's just go check it out. You know, what the hell? If nothing else, then when we do track this guy down, we can tell him, hey, you know what? We talked to the people from the bowling alley and the bar, and they're swearing up one side and down the other. No, nobody said that about you. We don't. And by the way, this is also a common negotiation tactic in hostage situations. For those of you, rest her soul in peace, that remember the Selena murder, the singer, mid to late 90s. She was killed by her fan club president. And one of the things, when they finally tracked the woman down, they tried to talk to her as if, you know, this isn't as big a thing as you think it is. Of course, it was as big a thing as she thought it was. All right. She committed a murder, right? But they wanted her to come out of the barricade situation that she was in and come into custody without having to kill a bunch of people. Her and her other hostages, probably some cops as well. So they lied to her. They just flat out lied to her. Only that in this case, they would have even had to lie. Maybe they would have had, well, they may have still had to lie. But go to the bowling alley and start talking to people. Hey, there's this guy running around telling everybody who'll listen and a few who won't that there's a rumor floating around that he's a friend of the playground. What's up with the story? Can you fill us in? Why does he have this persecution? Oh, he is a friend of the. Oh, okay, we've got to track this guy down and bring him in safely before somebody does get hurt. Oh yeah, he's a big friend of the playground. You know what? You can just shoot his ass. We don't care. Hey, DJ. We're having some technical difficulties today. That's why everything looks weird. Somebody at the bar, let's say, says, "Oh yeah, he's a big friend of the playground, all right. You can shoot his ass anytime you want." Oh shit, we gotta find this guy. Even if it's a false allegation, flagrantly and flatly, and no question or doubt in anybody's mind, yeah, actually that's a false allegation, and we can prove the negative here. They still got to track this guy down because somebody else might be looking for him with less detached thought processes. Because right around here there was a guy, it was about a year and a half ago, who was just fucking beaten in the street over an allegation of being a friend of the playground. Right? It turned out to be a very, very false allegation. But by the time they knew it was a false allegation, this guy was in the ER going, I think they said 10 hours of surgery. That's pretty serious, right? Even under the best of circumstances, that's a very serious beating. All right. If these whispers and allegations aren't true, they need to reach out to him and say, "Hey, we're being told by a lot of people that you're saying there are people accusing you of being a friend of the playground. We looked into this. Nobody's saying that. What's going on here? We need to talk. We really need to talk to you." I want to point something else out. His local sheriff's office was looking for him at the time. DJ, the audio and video are good now, but ask Sapien. Oh, actually, don't ask him. He might go on to a 15-page rant about how bad it was at the start. It's time for a new computer. So it is what it is. Sapien, don't start up on him. All right. All right. Either way, they had to find this guy and find out what the real story here is. And bring him in safely. I want to reemphasize this. The local sheriff's office had gone to his house looking for him. They knew something was going on here, and they knew they had to get a handle on it before something even worse happened. Well, something a whole lot worse happened because they weren't really looking for him as hard as they could have. Back in February, I believe it was, or maybe it was January, a local gun shop refused to sell him a silencer because he marked yes on "Have you ever been committed?" and they just refused to sell him the gun. It does the silencer. When he left, he seemed like everything was okay. He said he was going to figure this out with his attorneys and blah blah blah. And everybody's like, "Oh, okay, these things happen. We'll get through this. Come on back when you've got it all straightened out." And he never came back. That silencer is still sitting in there safe. Well, it was as of press time, which was probably sometime. This is Wednesday, probably Monday. Oh, that it went to press. Um, it's probably been taken by now as evidence. So that is what it is. This gun shop was able to do something the entire rest of the state of Maine was not able to do. Why? How is it that this gun shop, which was, by the way, only following literally black letter law, was able to say no? This is not going to happen, or at least it's not going to happen today. Now, I checked myself into a psych facility back in 2014. I believe it was 2014. All right. I stayed there for about 2 weeks and I got my head back together. Everything's fine now. Right. And I don't have persecution complex. Yes, I know there's some people out there that really don't like me. Some of them have a reason to not like me. And I get that. I understand. Right. My ex-wives don't like me. Okay. All right, fine. But they're not coming to shoot me. They're not coming to kill me. All right. My second ex-wife would be very happy if I had died in 2015, because then she could have collected the life insurance she thought I didn't know about. oh, yes, I knew about that. But there's not some big conspiracy to get me. Never was. Right. So where will those lines be drawn? Well, when you're believing things that are not true, we need to draw some fucking big black wide ass lines with very very thin gray lines. Like, okay, yeah, gray, no, black, you're black, you're black. Just stop. Bare minimum, this guy should have been somewhere where he could be treated. Um, and he wasn't. Damn. All right. So where all did the state fail? And where did the ATF fail? These were apparently legally his guns. So how is it that he had them? That's another question that needs to really, really be addressed. Finally, all right, so none of you got to hear the opening segment, which was Legion of Monsters. I dropped the link in the chat. Legion of Monsters by Disturbed talks about mass shootings and how the media is literally playing into it for literal profits. They keep putting the names of these people right there at the top of the page. That's literally the line at the top of the page. All of these others are following behind. They're seeing, hey, that guy became famous, right? The main shooter, was more than old enough to remember Columbine live. Literally live. I know. I saw it live. All right. I know this because that's how I learned about it. I came in right about the time the helicopter overhead was focused, I think, at the library where they had written in blood on a sheet or something, we're dying in here, or dying in here, or something to that effect. That's when I walked into it. I remember thinking, what the hell? What's this? Right? And then I start hearing the reporters talking about what's going on. How long do you think that his memory of Columbine just sort of percolated at the back of his head? I would be a liar to say that it doesn't percolate at the back of my head, because I lived through watching that live. Stop doing that! It's not fucking hard to understand. Don't put their names up. I'm going to go one big step further. If it was up to me, if it was only up to me, Daetslov would actually ban uh, crime stories, murder stories, outside the market where the media served. And this happened somewhere in Maine, all right? Lewiston, excuse me. It happened in Lewiston, right? So any television or radio stations that cover Lewiston would be able to talk about it. Any newspapers that have circulation inside of Lewiston could talk about it. Okay, fine. It's still within your market. Lewiston is like literally the edge of your broadcast signal, but it's still your market. So, okay, fine. All right, great, good, fine. You can talk about it. Anywhere outside of there would not be able to report on this story. I would have never heard about it. It's time to end this uh, this form of terrorism by the media. Enough's enough. I'll tell you all the real truth here. When I first heard about it, which was a week ago today, who was it that dropped that in the chat? Anyway, I thought that this was a copycat for Hamas. I thought somebody out there has finally thought, I can do what they did. I'm going to copy their bad example, or their, to this individual's mind, I guess maybe it was a good example, but I'm going to copy their example. I'm going to do what they did. Now, over the course of the last week, more information has come out. Okay, fine. All right. This was not a Hamas copycat. This was not a macro 9017, which is what I was thinking at that particular moment. Okay, fine. I made that mistake. I'm good. Right. No, I'm not crying myself to sleep. That is literally though what I thought was happening. And I'm gonna go one big fat fucking step further, probably over the line. I believe CNN et al, excuse me, are doing it because they know there'll be copycats and they want that spicy money. Because if it bleeds, it leads. And if it leads right to advertiser dollars. There it is. I just fucking said. CNN is broadcasting this shit because they want the money. The fact that it supports the agenda is kind of secondary. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up on the uh, uh, uh media say anything without sort. Okay. Hi, Alpine. I'm sorry I missed you. We're having some technical difficulties today. Um, all right. So Alpine points out, mother. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry about this. FCC voted to let the media say anything without sources, thus sensationalizing the news. No, FCC literally can just make rules, right? The feds gave them the authority to make the rules. So they don't have to vote. The director of the FCC is the vote. All right. And no, you can't say anything without sources, but you can do a whole lot. Um, you can still be sued for slander, libel, and other related damages. And if you don't believe me, ask the Covington kids. But yeah, they can get away with a lot, and it's time we stop letting them get away with half the shit they do. All right. So the remedial action for Lewiston. First of all, take those fucking gun-free zone signs down. I don't care what you do there. Take the fucking gun-free signs down. I want to point something else out related. Gun-free zones under Daetslov are actually banned unless it's listed there, and there's only 3, right? Airports, absolutely, unless you're a police officer escorting somebody, right? Uh, Schools, when security is provided, other government buildings, or government buildings rather, when security is provided. And that's it. 2 of the 3 are conditional, one of them is not. 2, stop fucking reporting this shit, right? Now, most of you out there are too young to remember. I'm a little on the young side to remember Stockton, the Stockton shooting. It was not the first mega sensational mass shooting. To the best of my knowledge, it was the first time mass shooting was used as a term. All right. Brace yourself, folks. I'm going to say some things that are true. They're not very fucking nice. You ready? Okay. In 1982, a Vietnam veteran who had obtained an AK-47, whether he brought it back as a war trophy or he bought it after he got back or whatever, I don't care, went to a predominantly Hmong student or elementary school, a middle school in Stockton with predominantly Hmong uh, students. Hmong is what most of you out there call montagnard, montagnard, mountain people. It's actually it's the French term for mountain people. The Hmong were more friendly to the United States than they were to the Vietnamese. Right, 2 very different tribes. There's the Nam Viet tribe that you think of as the Vietnamese, and there's the Hmong, who were the people that settled that region originally, and then the Nam Viets came out of China. All right, most of you don't know that. the Hmong have hated the non-Viets since they came south. Just because it's called Vietnam now, A, doesn't mean it was always called that. It was non-Viet before that. And B, doesn't mean they're all one tribe. They're two very, very different tribes that do not really like each other very much. Moving up right along. So in 1982, this Vietnam veteran went up to the school and just opened fire. I think he killed something like 20 children. That was the first time the term mass shooting was used. And it's continued like that ever since. Give me a second. I gotta catch up on the chat because see, my phone is showing me one thing. Oh, my phone is showing me the right thing. My phone is also covering part of the chat in StreamYard. The chat in YouTube is on a different tab that I can't see from here. YouTube blocked one of Warsaw Patriots' comments. And let me take a look. Okay, don't worry about it, Warsaw. What we're going to do is after the stream, you're going to follow that link. And you're going to come tell me personally, all right? Don't worry about it. And by the way, if any of you come backstage after the stream, leave your cameras off. In fact, if I have to, I'll turn your cameras off. Leave your cameras off. I don't want to see your faces. Not even use Sasquatch. And I think you're out there somewhere. You're just being really quiet this time. Okay. We are at 41 minutes. I got to move on. Stop reporting these things. You don't need to report them. You don't need to report every time somebody takes a shit on the sidewalk in San Francisco either. All right. How hard is this concept to understand? Also, guys, I'm actually seeing myself 4 times, and they are not synced together, so it's a little discombobulating for me. All right. Much has been made about the assault weapon from Maine, and every other mass shooting in the last 50 years. Thing is to the best of my knowledge, he did not have an assault weapon. So I want to go over this one more time. I probably should just do this every fucking week at this point. The assault weapon under Daetslov is, first of all, it has to be a firearm, all right? Theoretically, there was a Roman crossbow that would qualify as a machine gun because it was capable of continuously shooting. All right. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that. For those of you that know, you know. But theoretically, yes, you could just keep shooting all damn day. 3-man team, 2 crossbows with enough bolts could have kept shooting all damn day. I'm pretty sure we all understand that that's not part of any of this. All right. So, assault weapon, the definition: a firearm fed by detachable magazine. Pause. There's actually a few detachable magazine weapons out there that do not use a box magazine. So about 2 or 3 years ago, I had to adjust to account for the fact that it's not always a box magazine. It's just that is what it is. detachable magazine fed. Burst and or automatic fire capability. That means by design alone, it's literally designed to fire at least 2 shots with 1 activation squeeze of the trigger, generally speaking. Although in the M134, which is not an assault weapon anyway, case, it's flipping a switch. Now, for those of you that love those binary triggers, yes, I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry at all. All right, that will qualify as an assault weapon under Daetslov. Squeeze the trigger once, it goes bang once. Release the trigger, it goes bang a second time. So it's going to go bang twice. Burst is not a term that's defined under Daetslov. It can't be defined, right? Is it 5 rounds? Is it 3 rounds, like the M16A2, I think? Is it 10 rounds? Yeah, they're the motherfucker. The Breda Gassa. Matthias, I really hate you right now. I just want you to know. I really fucking hate you right now. The Breda Gassa finally was capable of a 5-round burst. It was the first burst capable firearm. And the reason I hate Matthias from CN Arsenal right now is he was doing a live stream with Forgotten Weapons, I think it was. And I gave the right answer. You know I gave the right fucking answer. But I misspelled it. And he rejected my answer because I don't speak Portuguese. I can't write in Portuguese. Maybe it's Italian. I don't speak or write in Portuguese or Italian or whatever. So he rejected my answer for the spelling. So now I have to say it correctly too. Moving right along. The best of my knowledge, after that one, the M16A2 was the next time you would see burst fire capability, because coming off of Vietnam, we would spend like 1,000 rounds because everybody just switched to automatic and leave it there the entire time they were there. No, that didn't work out very well. So to try to balance that fire discipline, fire superiority thing, they came up with the burst fire capability. Only, for whatever reason, they decided to come up with 3-round bursts rather than a 5-round burst. That makes sense. If it is not detachable magazine fed, it is not an assault anything. It never was. My SKS was not detachable magazine fed. There are SKSs out there. Romanian, I think it was, model was detachable magazine fed. All right. If it is not automatic and or burst fire capable, it is not an assault anything. I actually seen a couple of videos. One was M1 Garand that was converted to automatic, but it was still fixed magazine fed. I also seen a video out there about an SKS that was converted to automatic. It actually led me to break down my SKS and see, okay, how did he do that? How did he get this thing to work? No, I never did it, but I did break it down and try to figure it out. Never did. But those are still both fixed magazine fed. Now, illegally converted to automatic is still A, illegally converted, and B, yeah, it would qualify as an assault weapon then. You might have noticed I didn't say anything about caliber. That's because nobody can give a definition for caliber that is continuously, sustainably trackable. It's the same no matter what. I've heard the 7.6251 referred to both as a battle rifle and an intermediate cartridge by the same person, Lynette Nisbacher. Go ahead, ask her. Ask her if she's ever referred to the 7.6251, that's NATO standard, as an intermediate cartridge and as a rifle round. And if she tells you no, tell her that mandatory carry said, yes, you did. So maybe you should go fight him. Nobody can give me that definition. It doesn't exist. There is no way to determine where that line actually stops. Now, I know everybody's going to say 30-06 is a much more powerful. That's a rifle round. You're right. It is much more powerful than a 5.56 or a 7.6239. It's a little bit more powerful than a 7.6251. But you cannot give me a definition that I could always say, yes, okay, in all cases, this is possible. You can't get around it. At least my definition for assault weapon is yes or no, yes or no. That's it. If it's two yeses, it's a yes. If it's a yes and a no, it's a no. If it's a no and a yes, it's still a no. It's a pass, fail test, and that's it. All right. Related to Lewiston, red flag laws and what they should be. Red flag laws is where anybody, for any reason, by the way, can go to law enforcement or the courts or whatever and say, hey, this guy's crazy. He's going to shoot up a school. All right. And what they should be is a safety valve. What they are not is a safety valve. What they are right now is a harassment weapon. Here's a little bit of personal carry history. During the divorce, my second wife told the courts that A, I was homeless and nobody could reach me, even as she's texting me on a weekly basis to harass me. But okay. And I'm talking to our kids on a weekly basis. Okay. So sure, Jan. And they are anonymous. You are not held accountable for a false allegation. That is not at all appropriate. Now, I understand if somebody goes to the cops and says, mandatory carry is crazy. He's going to go shoot up a school tomorrow. When the cops come talk to me and say, Mr. Carey, we need to talk to you right now. Yeah, okay. What's the problem? We were told you're crazy and you're going to go shoot up a school. All right. Listen to this very carefully, Mr. Carey. We have to take the guns. You have 5 days to come down to the courthouse and explain the situation to the judge. Or 10 days or whatever. I'll be down there the next day. Your Honor, I know exactly who made this allegation. I want him down here. I want him to explain to you what he thinks makes me such a threat to the public. And when he does not show up the next day, as required, I get my guns back. It is a harassment tool. It was used against me by my second wife. I was not much of a gun guy for the first divorce. I had one gun, that was it. Um, it's time to stop using this as a weapon to harass each other. Start using it as a tool to protect us from legitimate threats. You know, if I have to write, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I already did write the Daetslov red flag law. And that also says that, yes, you have to go into the courthouse and explain to the judge why you think this person's a threat. And the jury has to agree with you. And the judge has to agree with you. Or at least the judge has to acquiesce to the jury's opinion. Uh, okay. I'm going to catch up on chat here for a second because there's something. All right. Alpine Gulch said, was that when Reagan forced the vets out of the asylum? All right. That's a little bit of a whole lot of an oversimplification. Yes, Ronald Reagan actually did close the asylums. He claimed at the time that it was cruel to hold somebody in an asylum just because they can't take care of themselves. Raise your hand if you buy that shit. All right. It was more of shoehorning an excuse around the reason. The reason was it wanted to close the. Oof. Hold up, guys. Something just happened with StreamYard that I don't. Okay. Um, he was shoehorning uh, the uh, the reason around the real cause, which was they wanted to close the hospitals because they're expensive and nothing comes back. Right? You're paying a couple $1 million a year to keep the hospitals open, and what do you get out of it? Well, you get public safety for one thing. These people who can't take care of themselves are someplace where they're not going to hurt anybody. Um, but no, Gulch, he didn't force the veterans out of the hospital. He forced everyone out. The next one is also Alpine Gulch, and it was her next comment. What about Uzis? Yes, Uzis qualify as assault weapons. Even though they're submachine guns, they're a specific type of assault weapon. Just like the Shosho, which was not the worst machine gun ever, and was not a machine gun under Daetslov, is also a specific type of or specific category of assault weapon. Um, that is absolutely true um, without the least bit of, yeah, like 9 out of 10 homeless people you see are either drug abusers, uh, or belong in a mental asylum, a psychiatric hospital, and about half of them are both. They either they get into the drugs so that they can just not think about the fact that their mental illness goes away for a few hours, right? They don't have to hear the voices in their head. They're not hearing the voices in their head, all right? Or they become mentally ill from the drug abuse. Um, Either way, one leads to the other, and they end up homeless. And by all means, do ask me how I, of all people, know. Actually, do not do that. It's a really bad idea. Especially for the crowd around here. You should know better. Okay, Bernie, I'm sorry. I was in a little bit of a rant. Okay, we are at 59 minutes. I got to move on. Shit. Okay, I'm going to make this one quick. Universal backgrounds and straw purchases. First of all, universal background check is already a thing. Right? I don't give a flying fuck what Gavin Newsom or anybody else says. When you transfer a firearm from yourself to somebody else, all right, and they do something with that firearm that they should not have done, up to and including simply sell it to somebody who should not have gotten it, the ATF calls that a straw purchase. Even though you bought it for your own use, you don't need it anymore, you're legally selling it to somebody who could have it, all right, they call that a straw purchase. You really want to think about that before you give your gun or sell your gun to somebody on Craigslist. Even if they do absolutely nothing with it, ever, they turn around and sell it to somebody who does do something, you're going to be the one explaining to the ATF why this happened. Okay. I'm going to close the chat for a couple of minutes because I want to read something to you. I have a little bedtime story for you. Present screen share. I want to make sure I put the right one up. That's the right one. There. That's the best I'm going to. Oh, no, that's not the best I'm going to get, guys. Oh, good. That's a lot better. Nice. Alpine caught it. The Romans observed closely these measures. They sent colonies and maintained friendly relations with the minor powers without increasing their strength. They kept down the greater and did not allow any strong foreign powers to gain authority. Because the Romans did in these instances what all prudent princes ought to do, prepare with every energy, for when foreseen, it is easy to remedy them. In the beginning of the malady, it is easy to cure but difficult to detect. It becomes easy to detect but difficult to cure. The Romans, foreseeing troubles, dealt with them at once and would not let them come to a head, for they knew war was not to be avoided, but is only put off to the advantages of others. I mean, I know I've said this before, but let me clarify this. Maybe if I cut it down to less than a sentence. The Romans knew that war is not to be avoided, but is only put off to the advantage of others. Maybe if I shout it, maybe if I read it in Latin. What do you guys think? should I get this translated into Latin and read it that way? Because I don't actually speak or read Latin. I know a few terms. But you know what? I'd be willing to go there for you. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything in the chat, but I'm not seeing a whole lot in the chat because of delay on top of delay on top of delay. So the only thing I gotten so far is Alpine saying proof. Okay, so Alpine wants me to get this translated into Latin. So if anybody knows somebody that speaks and reads Latin and will actually respond to a message, let me know. I'll reach out to them. I'll get this translated into Latin. That fair, guys? That'd be fun, watching me try to read Latin. I don't know what's going to happen there. On the other hand, Sapient doesn't listen to Latin. Right. Got another present to do. Oh, damn. Okay. The right one. Reading from Daetslov, Section 8, Warning Shots, and Section 9, Duty to Retreat. Warning shots. Warning shots are hereby prohibited except as provided by maritime law and laws of warfare. Shots intended to injure are hereby prohibited with the exemption of weapons designed to injure with limited or no chance of death or great bodily injury. Okay, so first of all, this was actually changed right about this time last year. Oh no, yeah, no, it was about this time last year. It used to be as provided by maritime law. That's it. Hi, Macy. You are late. That's okay. I'm gay. Don't worry about it. You used to only read maritime law. I had to expand it because I got tired of fixed bayonets screaming at me every time I read this. All right. So, and laws of warfare. All right. That is one shot to laws of warfare. One shot to inform somebody that, hey, you're fucking around and you're about to find out. Maritime law, a shot across the bow, although with Coast Guard drug interdiction, it's usually like 6 shots across the bow. So, I'm just saying. And again, it's to inform them, hey, you're fucking around and you're about to find out. So, that just is what it is. What do you want me to say? Shots intended to injure are hereby prohibited. So, no, you can't just shoot them in the leg. Right? That's it. No, you can't just shoot them in the leg. That is now illegal. With the exception of weapons designed to injure with limited or no chance of death or great bodily injury. So your pepper spray is fine. Your Byrna, if you can get it to work, is fine. Your taser is fine. All right? You're good to go on those. The next one is a little more important, I think. Section 9 is duty to retreat. Any person in a place they have a right to be in and not otherwise engaged in criminal activities shall have no obligation to retreat from same when they reasonably perceive a threat to life or limb to themselves or another party and may come to the aid of another they believe to be in danger. You are at the park. You are at your niece's birthday party at the park. You have no duty to retreat when some asshole with a homemade MAC-10 comes to the park shooting every single woman in sight. For those of you that remember, A, that's a true story, and B, turned into a episode of Law and Order. Welcome back, Luke. All right. You are in the park. You have a legal right to be there. Great, good. You are not engaged in any illegal activity. What is illegal about a birthday party? I mean, that's a stupid thing to even have to ask, but there will be somebody who demands I answer that question because whatever. Because she's fucking stupid is the reason she'd ask that question. You are under no obligation to retreat here. You are doing a thing that you have a right to be doing. That's it. May come to the aid of another they believe to be in danger. May and shall are not synonyms at all. You may come to the aid of another. You are not required to. And I would never put that requirement in here because you may be coming to the aid of somebody you believe to be in danger who's actually the perpetrator, and the guy that you got in your sights now is actually the victim. Right? I'm just saying, folks, you need to consider a little bit of restraint. You need to float that idea in the back of your head. There may be times when it's pretty fucking obvious who the perpetrator here is. Shit. Buffalo, New York shooting. What was that, late last year, I think? The guy went in on a racist rampage, shooting every black person he could see, except for one who apparently said something kind to him the day before that, something like some stupid shit like that. He went in there with a rifle. At best, anybody else there had a handgun. You see a guy with a rifle and a guy with a handgun, what are you going to assume? Well, if you're not stupid, you're going to think the guy with the rifle was not concealed carrying in. Probably not the good guy here. All right. It is not a requirement that you come to anybody's aid. I really want to underscore that. You're not required. You're allowed. That's it. Okay. I believe we're done there. Luke and DJ, we had some technical, and Macy, we had some technical difficulties earlier, so everything's all fucked up today. All right, we've got get home bags. And I've got 45 minutes. That's good. Get home bags. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Present. Share screen. Put it back to motherfucker. Oh, there. That one. Stream 2. You know, Macy, if you can conceal carry a Uzi under your hoodie, then yeah. Yeah, okay, fine. Wasp, I see that. Right? I do. I'm not ignoring you, bud. Oh, good. Everything's in here. Oh, okay. DJ is Tom Baker, Doctor Who. Um, really? Are we gonna have a fucking fist fight over who the best Doctor is? We are not having a fight about who the best Doctor Who is. We're just not going to discuss who the worst Doctor Who is. All right. Um. Oh, Wasp. Hey, everybody. Uh, put a 1 in chat for Warsaw Patriot because uh, he's getting over a cold, not the flu, which is what I thought I read. Uh, no, Sapien. The best Doctor, according to the fourth Doctor, fifth. Who's the fifth Doctor, guys? Um, it's the current Doctor, whoever the current Doctor happens to be. The only problem with that is the current Doctor sucks. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to wait until she goes away and somebody else steps in. Yes, it's not because it's a she, right? I'll tell you all the truth. I wanted a female doctor myself, right? It's everything surrounding that, literally everything surrounding that decision. Ooh, drop a 1 in the chat. For Warsaw Patriot, and drop a 2 in the chat if you believe Blair White should be the next Doctor Who. No 3s, right? Uh oh. Oh. Well, according to the logic that I just used, I guess David Tennant is the greatest, or the best Doctor. This is news to me. Whatever, Alpine. All right. Get home bags. Last week I said, last week after this stream, because we all got a little distracted with the situation. So I had to record and upload it later. I gave the basic philosophy, basically an overnight pack just to get home, right? The bag itself is actually kind of important. You can't exceed the bag, and the bag is the bag should be no larger than a large mid-sized purse. All right. It should be less than 1 gallon total size. Now mine is 1.5 gallons. Not because I need the extra space, but because the bag itself, when I bought it, was that big. And the first thing I did was rip everything out of it, sort through it, throw all kinds of shit away. Right? There is somebody running around here who has a space blanket and a plastic poncho. You know why? Because I gave those to him. He was a homeless guy. He just walked up and said, "Here," and walked off. All right. And I've seen him since then. He did actually keep them. Right? um, those were useless items. So yes, my bag is a little bit larger than a gallon. Gallon is awful large compared to what you should have. It should fit into roughly 3/4 of a gallon. Now, 3/4 of a gallon is not actually a measurement in air that I know of. All right. But it shouldn't be any larger than a 3/4 gallon bottle should be able to fit into. 3 quart, 1 quart water bottles should be about all you can get in there. All right. So 3 quarts, half gallon to 3 quarts. If it's any larger than that, you really, really need to go through it and ask yourself, do I really need this item, that item, this other item? Can I move these to some other situation? You know, like, do you really need your gun in your get home bag? I mean, you need it on your hip. Do you need your multi-tool in your get home bag? No, actually, you need this in your pocket, right? This is pocket carry. God damn it, guys. You're trying to fuck with my head. 42 is not the correct answer. A towel is not a must. Everybody knows all you need is a lightsaber. God damn it, what's wrong with you guys? And a good blaster on your hip. And it better be a yellow lightsaber. Especially you. Yeah, you know who you are. All right. Okay. Whatever, DJ. Where was God damn it, Carrie. Carrie, could you not? No. No. So where was I? 3/4 of a gallon, roughly, bag. Right. Don't exceed that amount. If it's not fitting in there, you really need to ask yourself, A, do I need this as badly as I think I do? And B, is there somewhere else I can put it? Oh. Yes, a blaster is so uncivilized, but you know what? The fact that I answered lightsaber and blaster and X-Wing on the what kind of Jedi, what is your Jedi, what is your lightsaber color test is why I'm a Sentinel, which is why I can go down to the strip club and get a lap dance while I'm drinking a beer. So fuck your blues. Wasp, don't run away. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Good night, Wasp. I'll try to catch up with you sometime tomorrow at my lunch break. Okay, I'll try to catch up with you then. We are at 1.5 hours, and other than sitting here berating the state of Maine for how badly they fucked up last week. Well, it wasn't even last week. It was the month before that. The 2 months before that. The every fucking month since at least June, February, March, April before that. And I'm giving them a lot of slack here saying April, right? Because they knew things were not right as early as January. They may have known somebody knew something as early as December of last year. In January, it was clear there was a problem. February, they were being alerted to there being a problem as late as April. As late as April, they should have been acting. And I mean aggressively to find this guy. They didn't. And it kind of looks like they didn't look. They just didn't look. They knocked on the one door. He didn't answer. They moved on. I think that was actually, fuck you guys, but Firearms Policy Center, I think, made a joke along those lines. Good night, Wasp. We'll see you next week. I'll try to hook up with you tomorrow, okay? Where was I? I'm not. There's only so much bashing I can do, right? The state of Maine, Lewiston, or somebody, police, and that county's sheriff, all fucked up, and there's not really an excuse for it. I wish Squatch were here right now to hear me say those words live. The cops fucked up. There's no excuse. The ATF really fucked up. There's no excuse. And the Army, National Guard, may have pretty well fucked the dog too. And I can't think of a good excuse how that part happened. Right? It is what it is. I want to underscore something else. First of all, both of those places were gun-free zones. Well, the sign didn't stop anything. All right. Second of all, he had the gun illegally anyway. Just that's it. He held the gun illegally. What are we supposed to draw? What inferences are we supposed to draw here? That if you give up your guns, mysteriously everything will be okay? What? No, don't ever fucking give your guns up. Or your pepper spray. Or your collapsible baton. Or your taser. Or your brass knuckles, because everybody knows I have an unhealthy obsession with brass knuckles. Do not give up your brick, the brick that you carry in the trunk of your car. All right? Just don't do any of the above. All right? Hold on to them until hell freezes over and God dies. And even then, hold on to them anyway, because what are we supposed to do? Right? Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there. Anybody that wants to come backstage, now would be a pretty good time. You're not funny, Macy. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. You're not fucking funny, Macy. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. For another week. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.